Kids, welcome back. Aloha. And to all my subscribers and looky-loos, everyone's welcome today. Okay, as I said before, we'll have something special on every Sunday. And what's it going to be this time? Well, I was thinking about it all week again, and boy, oh boy, I had 3 to pick from. I ran into 3 people in a row that wanted to talk to their boss negatively. And as I said in the past, there was so many jobs Uncle Martin had with bosses and how I dealt with them to where it was a negative situation and it was turned over to a be positive. And I was going to go with bosses, but the next one was the situation with kahunas, those guys that nobody wants to talk about, it seems like, that had mastery over fire, air, water, earth. These are 4 elements that we get to deal with on a daily basis on so many different levels. And they had mastery over it. And I was going to bring them up, because I said in the past it's really pretty cool. And I always want to bring up cool things for everybody. And then the third thing I was thinking about was the healing. Everybody has to be healed, either on a physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual level. So I think the thumbnail this time is going to be on healing, because we all have to be healed again on some level. And this planet terrific or terrible seems to have a lot of healing that is necessary. I think a lot of people would agree with that, even you looky-loos. And I'm not pointing fingers at anybody. You're the guys that are going to be leaving the soonest. Or maybe you might hang around more than 3 minutes or 30 seconds. I don't know what the time frame was with that. In episode 29, I had said goodbye. And I'm thinking, that sounds like my dad when we played that little game. But episode 29, anybody that got a hold of that, you were saying, Uncle Martin, why did you say goodbye? Because it was that dream that I've had another one since then, so that's why I'm on this will be episode 40. That was 29. And that's what I'm saying. I didn't know anything then, and I really don't know anything now as far as really how this YouTube really thing works. But I did find out, well, if you do a YouTube, you're supposed to put 1 or 2, maybe 3 out there. But you don't put 29 at once out there. As a matter of fact, I put out, all in one day, I put out 14. And it wouldn't take anymore. And then I find out, after I put in the rest of them, you never ever do that. If you have a channel, I got a channel, Uncle Martin's channel. You don't do that all at once. Do you know why? Because it throws off the algorithms, whatever that means. So that means, I guess, whatever it means. So I am now on episode 40. I wish I would have known all that. I would have put up one at a time, But I put them all at once. So on 29, which has to do with, I guess, it has to do with pain. So pain has to do something with healing too, doesn't it? Absolutely. But 29 was pain. How do you deal with pain? And I'm not going back there again. I'm just trying to recant here that 29 was goodbye. Dad's saying goodbye. I'm saying now aloha again. And I will not say goodbye for a very long time, hopefully. By God's grace, it'll be a while before Uncle Martin really says goodbye. What I'm saying is, when I did 29, it was just, I really thought it was my last one, and that was Memorial Day, on that day. And then the next time I came back was on July 4th, which I will not change any of that stuff, but the chips fly where they may. But right now, out of all the things that I'm saying, we will stay with the thumbnail, which is healing. Um, I know I'll get a lot of flack from doctors and hospitals, and I hope psychiatric people aren't going to jump on me just because of the last one when I said psychiatrist versus the psychologist. Who would want to jump on me for that? You know, I gave you out the truth on both of those, which I have not touched upon because it's a touchy topic, and you know how I feel about touchy topics. Even healing is a touchy topic. But we all need more healing in this world, and that's why Uncle Martin's coming out about this thumbnail on healing. So nobody can come back and sue me. Not that anybody would want to do that to Uncle Martin. So that's why I'm putting it out this way. Uncle Martin's not saying go and do this, what I'm going to say. I'm not saying that. I'm saying for 50 years, our family has followed, well, a few things, but one guy in particular was Edgar Casey. He had remedies that we followed, and I'm just picking just one of these, and I think that'll help a lot of people, and that's why I'm going to go with the healing, because the last guy I ran into, he had a lot of pain, and I didn't tell him to go look up episode 29 on the pain. I was just thinking, well, we could maybe merge it into the healing part, which would be, let me get it out there for you right now. It's cold pressed, triple cold pressed castor oil. All right, yeah, castor oil. That's where all those movies, those little kids were. What were they eating? They were they were castor oil. And I'm not saying to eat castor oil. Uncle Martin's saying to apply it. And I'm only saying it because we've done it 50 years in our family. And Edgar Casey said it too. And I'm going with Edgar Casey. You want to sue him? Good fortune to you. And by the way, since I brought up Edgar Casey, I'm recanting one little thing, which was I said in an episode, Edgar Casey predicted the Atlantis coming up in my numbers. I said in 1948, for good gracious. He came in like 1970, see the numbers again. 1877, he came in breathing. He left, his transition came in 1948. So how could he be making a prediction in 1948? So I was off on those numbers. I'm just trying to say it was earlier that he said Atlantis was coming up, which it is around Bimini and other places. I'm not going there again. I'm just trying to recant something. Somebody's saying Edgar Casey wasn't even around in 1948. No, he went somewhere. He went to the next level, as we all do at some point or another, kids. That's, it happens that way. That's what we're here to. We're here to learn. We're all here to learn. And I think we're here to learn on healing also. It's just a thought Uncle Martin has. So what I'm going to say is the things that Edgar Casey said that we followed that helped our family. Not only our family, but other families that I dealt with. But I'm not going to really bring them up. I'm just going to say what happened to Uncle Martin in his lifetime so far. I'm going to say it's very positive. At least put on the back shelf. Triple cold pressed castor oil. That's all. And I'm going to go through just a few little itty bitty things of how it's helped me in some situations. And other people too. I laughed at Dad. I laughed at him all the time when I was growing up. It was in high school. I was in football and other things, but I was getting pummeled. I was a little guy. I was a right guard. He said, "Get down there. You're the fastest. You get down there, and you. As soon as he catches that ball, I want you." And I was pretty positive with that. But then football, which I found was, you hurt people. I didn't want to hurt people. Even then, I think I wanted to heal rather than hurt. Anybody can hurt. Can you heal? I think there was someone that asked that question once. It was whoever it was. It was positive. Anybody can hurt somebody. Can you heal them? Well, I think the negative side is more in the hurting. The positive side is more in the healing. So I guess that's where Uncle Martin's coming from. He's more on the positive side. I would prefer to heal than to hurt. Anybody can hurt. And I'm just saying it's rather negative just to do. Now, I'm not saying not to protect yourself. I've already gone through that episode stuff. How to beat up a bully, karma, without having a fight. And we went through enough of that. So we'll stay with triple cold press. Why I say triple cold press is because you can go to all these stores that have heat treated castor oil, and I don't know if it's gonna. It may help you, but all things that have not been refined are going to be healthier for you, and that goes with triple cold press castor oil. Edgar Casey said, when I heard this when I was 15, of course, that's when a lot of things hit me from the past live stuff and everything like that, and whatever that episode there. My eyes opened up a little bigger than they were. I laughed when Dad was doing the castor oil packs because I said, Dad, what are you doing? He said, Edgar Casey said, and, well, by the way, Dad had Parkinson's, all right? He had it. And I'll just leave that alone at this point. He looked into a lot of different levels of different things. And I guess that's where Bro and I came in, to where maybe we were all to be together on this family thing, as we all are kids. Every family member that you have around you, or guardian, or whoever it is, you have things to learn by these people. As I've said in the past life episode, and I'm not going back there. But Dad, well, I think this time Bro and I were here again with Dad, to where this time it came out a little more positive for him than negative. Like that past, Bro and I, we went on the boat ride, and it wasn't very positive. This time, I believe, it came out much more positive, and I think that's where it goes. Each past life that we have with the same people that we come in with, we have an option to make it more positive or more negative, okay? And I'll just leave it at that at this point. I'm just trying to get to some point of healing, which whatever I come up with, it will become full circle on the healing part. I promise you. It's got to be, because it's the thumbnail. That's all there is to it. So we have Dad wrapping them all. He's doing castor oil. He's doing castor oil baths. He's in the bathtub with a bunch of castor oil. I'm saying, Dad, he says, it's healing. It's healing. I said, yeah, Dad, but, and then okay, we stopped the baths. It was getting too expensive. But he'd rub himself down with his castor oil all over, because he had situations, and then he'd wrap himself in those plastic suits that runners use, I don't know, for perspiration, or keeps your moisture in and all that. Well, which is actually a nice castor oil wrap if you want to do it that way, rub your body down and everything. But Dad went to extreme on some things, but it was healing for him, and I say it did work on different levels for him. I thought it would be a little extreme, but as I look onto it now, let me give you some facts on the triple cold press castor oil, and then you can go from there. Edgar Casey said, triple cold press castor oil will heal any ulcerated sore known to mankind. Wow, isn't that interesting? Seems to be a lot of ulcerated sores around, isn't it? I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to go into any specific one. He said anyone. Yeah. So that was I always kept that on the back shelf. And then the next thing was castor oil. Triple cold press castor oil goes from the skin level. As we know, we have 7 layers of skin. Hey, isn't that spiritual? So the castor oil doesn't stop on the surface level, and it goes down through the tendons, all the tendons. It goes through muscles, tendons, goes down to the bone, goes down to the bone marrow. And where does it go from there? Well, it comes back up to the surface level. This is the way castor oil works. It's just the way it works. So a castor oil pack, you can look that up. I'm not going to. There's different ways. I just have so much time with you. You can Google Edgar Casey's castor oil pack, and that'll get you tons away from my precious time with you at this point. I only got just so much time with you that I want to get across a few things that how this has helped Uncle Martin and his family. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying go do it. I never said go do it. I said put it on the back shelf. That's all. Oh boy! So at that time, I was in football. And I was getting pummeled. They were jumping all over me. I was not as fast as I could have been, maybe. But those times that I wasn't, I was coming home, limping a little bit. Dad was saying, "Put a castor oil pack on you." I said, "I don't need that." The coach gave me something. He gave me this like plastic container. It was an atomic bomb. No, not the atomic bomb. That's negative. The atomic bomb. This is atomic bomb. Atomic BALM. That bomb. See? Brush your teeth, kids. Atomic bomb. And I used it, and boy, that stuff was hot. It was really, it worked for a little bit, but it was only surface level. All these oils and goodies or whatever, this topical stuff, it only works so it doesn't go down to the level it should to really help the tendons and the bone marrow, which I'll get into that, I promise, because that's one of the little story parts of how Uncle Martin, when he broke his arm. You know how I feel about doctors. Doctors, I love you. I do, because you want to help people. Now, hopefully you want to help people. And I told you in the past episodes, I have nothing against you. But when Mom told me when I was 10, physician, heal thyself. Mom, you're a physician. We're all physicians. Even physicians will tell you, in 3 or 7 days, you'll be healed, basically, if you just be cool about it, man. I'm not saying not to go to a doctor, because you might have to, but I'm just saying we all are physicians, and we will heal ourselves depending on the thought, again, on where we're coming from. That's all. Oh boy, this is like a can of worms, but not really, because I'm a fisherman. I'm going fishing with these worms. So Dad was saying do castor oil packs. I said, no, Dad, I'm not. No, finally, I had a real good negative injury on my leg, and I said, yeah, Dad, I think. So son of a gun, it did. Within a day or so, all my tendons and all that was feeling a lot better than that atomic bomb, BALM, I was putting on. That helped, and helped a little bit. I mean, hot. It was really hot. It was atomic, but it didn't. It only went to the surface level. It didn't go down deep into the squashed muscles that I had from football. So I learned at a young age that, hey, this stuff might have something. But I really wasn't using it on a regular basis. See, kids, we're all scientists. We're all alchemists. Every one of you, even the parents that are around, guardians, we're all alchemists here. In Planet Terrific or Terrible, how we want to put it. An alchemist is someone that transforms matter. And in the past, they said, alchemy was for changing lead into gold. And I find that to be very interesting, because isn't lead like 92 on the atomic structure scale, and gold is like 79. Gold is 79, lead is 82. My numbers. That's only 3 difference. Protons. Only 3 protons difference. And we discussed protons already in episode 2, when all you little kids were, you came up from weak nuclear force and kicked gravity's butt. That bully that thought he was so tough with gravity, and you, as a weak nuclear force, took care of him, right? And then we morphed up into a proton, and actually, he was a proton because proton's bigger than the weak nuclear force. And then you morphed into that one grain of sand that was like a mountain. I think I said a rock, but if you think about it in size, a grain of sand, one grain of sand is like a mountain to a proton. Just trying to put things into perspective. It was episode 2. I'm not going back there. I'm just trying to keep alchemy in its perspective. We are all alchemists, and do we not have to do alchemy on ourselves? You might look at it as like maybe like this little scenario. Is it maybe our subconscious that we can't see, we can't touch it, but it exists, as we know. The subconscious exists. So could that be the lead, and maybe the higher self? The higher self would be the gold, maybe. And what would we be? Well, we're between lead and gold, I guess, aren't we? Hey, are we going for the lead or are we going for the gold? I say go for the gold. All right, that's just how Uncle Martin feels about it. Oh boy, and that all that does come in with the kahunas, by the way, that I said we will touch upon, because boy, all that would come in full circle too. Oh, it's amazing. But I'm just trying to stay with healing, because the last guy that I talked to was saying, oh man, because he heard about some of my episodes, and he says, well, you're going to do healing. I need some healing. Oh, would you give me? I said, well, I might have something for you. And that's why I'm going with the healing part. I said in episode 29, how to deal with pain, how our thoughts are on that. But I'm just staying with the healing part right now. In episode 40 is healing. How Uncle Martin did so much healing with his own body, and other people that I had to help them. That's all. You know how I feel about that. Maybe you don't, but I do. I feel more for healing. So all right, perfect. I'm only going to go into a couple of them because we don't have so much time. When I was taking somebody to the airport, 2 big guys, big muscle-bound guys, they thought it was funny because I was a short, smaller guy than them. I was half their size. And they said, hey, because I was throwing stuff in their luggage. I was, I have some strength behind me. I was putting and then one of the guys says, don't touch that bag over there. And then the other guy says, one guy said, he was positive. He said, do not touch that bag over there. And it was just like, kind of a duffel bag. And the other guy says, well, after I got everything else in, the other guy was gone in the house. And the negative guy, I don't know if he was negative, but he said, hey, you want to grab that duffel bag? I said, yeah, no problem. Because I already got the other bags. So I went over with one arm. In my mind, I was bringing it, and I picked it up. And I did pick it up. But I think it was like, probably at least over 100 pounds, okay? And I felt the top of my shoulder, this shoulder hair. You know how there's strands, if you look up the strands and muscles and tendons? I think I did. I ripped them. Because I heard it pop, and then I felt that extreme sensation. I'm staying with episode 29. The sensation that I had in the top of my shoulder was extreme heat. And I said, oh boy. And then the other guy says, you didn't, he says, who put the bag? And I said, I did. I put it. And he says, I told you not to touch that. I said, yep. The other guy said, and then they were almost, they were sitting in the back seat, and he's saying, why did you tell him that? I said, don't worry about it. I took care of it. I didn't tell him the sensation that I was having. And I said, oh boy, did I do something to my shoulder. And anybody that's had shoulder problems, some of you have gone to the doctor and had them to sew it up, okay? I know, because I've got clients that have had that happen too. And I wish I could have got a hold of them before, because maybe I would have had something for them. But everybody goes through what they're going to go through. That's all. And I am an alchemist and a scientist to where I know I could have been healed a much sooner than I was. But Sometimes, kids, even when you know the law, you don't follow the law. What do? You go and do this. You go and say, I know about that, but I'm not going to do it. That's what I did. Uncle Martin did that for like 3 weeks. Till finally I didn't even get REM sleep anymore. I was waking up within a half hour. I wasn't even getting my sleep. I said, you know what? I think I better try a castor oil pack, which I did. And son of a gun, I immediately felt maybe I was oversensitive. Maybe some of us are more sensitive than others. Obviously, we are. And I've been in tune that way a lot in my life, as you all are too. It's up to you how you want to feel about it. So I put that castor oil pack. Lo and behold, it felt better immediately. Okay, for me. The next day, okay, I was able to get 4 hours sleep. That told me something right off the top. Not only that, I'm going to go into further to where I did nothing different through the rest of my healing of my shoulder. I used more of my left hand picking up the bags, but I still had to use my right. I changed nothing. And I healed my shoulder with just castor oil packs and did nothing different. I couldn't take off. I had to make money for my mortgage. So I kept working, but using the castor oil packs. And I don't believe I used more than, castor oil packs are only to be used for like 3 days. Then you lay off for 3 days. But I think I stayed with 4 days, and I think I was done. And I did it in another week, and that was it. I only used it a couple weeks, and I got out of the situation I was in. So that's just one of the many things, but I figured, that's a pretty positive topic. The second one was Marcia. I'm only going to give 3 out there. Marcia. Never brought up her because that was the one I came the closest to marrying. She's a nurse. She's on the 7th floor. I'm not going to say what hospital. She's telling me that she's moving more weight than I am. I'm working for Beacons. I moved 40,000 pounds out of a house, me and Dow. We put it on a 40-footer. We take it to a destination. We unload. I'm doing 80, add it up, 40 and 40, I know that, is 80,000 pounds that Dow and I did on a daily basis, a lot. And I'm coming home, she says, what are you doing laying on the couch? Why aren't you vacuuming? And I said, well, I was bit by a brown recluse. She says, what? You lying duck. And she said, let me see the band. You were bit by a brown recluse. And then that would be another story I can't get into right now because I got to stay with the program. It is how to deal with brown recluse bites, all right? But I can't do that, even though it has to do with healing. I want to stay with just the castor oil of what I'm talking about here. She was determined to, maybe that was what it was. Maybe the high voice. I really don't know. But we were spiritually, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, we were there, let me tell you. And even then, kids, it doesn't matter. Sometimes it's time to move on. And I knew that ahead of time. I'm not going to go there. I'm just saying, this particular instance, she's coming home and telling me, I think that was the other time. I didn't get bit by the brown recluse. It was the other time. I was laying on the couch. She says, what are you doing laying on the couch? You're supposed to be vacuuming. She said that both occasions, though. It was my turn to vacuum. Okay. She says, I said, I just moved 80,000 pounds today. And she says, that's nothing compared to what I do. I said, oh, really? You're like 5'4". What do you do? I move patients around, and they're over 300 pounds, and it's just me, and I'm rolling them because of bed. You know, she has to roll. She has to roll the people that can't roll themselves on the bed, because they get what do you call it? They get something. They get a lot of things, I'm sure, but they get bed sores. Bed sores happen when people lay in bed and they don't get rolled. So she's telling me she's got a whole floor of these people that she's rolling. She's rolling them on a different part of their body. She's not rolling them. Rolling could be you're taking something from someone. Hey, I got rolled. Were you in bed? I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep cosmic humor, cosmic humor in this healing episode. So she's trying to tell me that she's moving more than 80,000 pounds. Well, she's saying if you take my size, 5'5", 4", she's a short little girl, but she's saying in comparison, yes, I've moved more than you. And then I wanted to get off the topic because I knew that was a fib. There's no way 80,000 pounds comes to a whole floor of big people that need to be rolled. Then she said the bed sores, And I said, well, why? Because I get bed sores. And I got to. It's my job. I said, well, Marcia, you know about castor oil. You know that it heals any ulcerated sore to mankind. Isn't a bed sore? A bed, yeah. She says, yeah, but I can't do that because I said, look, we're all alchemists. We're gonna just do. How many patients you got? She says, I've got 14. I said, okay, fine. Do 7 with, 7 without. Just do that. See what happens. Well, you know what happened? Do you know what happened? She was almost fired because of what I said. I know hospitals are supposed to heal you. And I know hospitals you do a lot of healing. But I was wondering, why would they want to fire her? Because you can't do those things I found out from other nurses and doctors, all she had to do was ask the patient rather than experiment on them. See, the doctor could say no. But if the patient says, yeah, I think I want to do this, then it's okay. You see, she didn't do that. She listened to Uncle Martin. She just did the experiment on 7 and not the others. 7 of them got better. They didn't have many more. They wanted to know why. Why did these 7 have it that when 14 did and now the 7 don't? Well, she copped to it. She says, well, Uncle Martin told... No, she said, my boyfriend said, and they said, who is this guy? And she didn't say who it was or anything, but they said, we have the right to fire you, but since you have no demerits and you are a perky little girl, I don't know what it was, but they said, this is just a warning, but we have the right to fire you for doing what you did. And I thought when she told me that, I said, wow, I thought hospitals wanted to help people. I'm sure they do, but they have, and I understand where the hospitals are coming from. People could come in with all kinds of concoctions wanting to help and heal you, and what happens is you might end up not being healed and going the other direction. So that's why there's that law. I understand that. It's not like I'm not understanding that, but I'm just thinking hospitals have lots of things to learn. So do doctors. That's all. So we got those 2 stories out of the way, and then the third one would be I broke my arm. I don't know if it was broken, but it had to be because of my toe being broken by Mia, the horse. I was barefoot. You never lead your horse and barefoot. And you know how I feel about being barefoot, and I'm not going there. But it was when the car came through. Aunt Nancy left Mia, a quarter horse, on our property. And when she came down the driveway, this friend of hers who had these weird colors on sticks her head out the window and says, I'm deathly afraid of horses. And you know what happened? I had the hackamore on which is a lead for a horse that doesn't have a bit. And I was leading Mia, and Mia was totally cool until that person went and said that, and her eyes opened up this big. Mia's eyes were just wide open, and her her hoof came right down on my foot, my whole foot, and I heard, and not the big toe, the next toe over, snapped like a twig. I got upset, all right, and I jumped on her back, because all of them are, Nancy's gang's out of the way. We didn't have all those apartments next to me. We just had barbed wire. I get on there was 1.5 acres, 2 acres, 1.5 acres of barbed wire separating. And I jumped on bareback, and I get over to that, and I rode her like she'd never been rode before. I was really upset. All I had was a hackamore, and I'm barefoot, and on a bareback horse. And we're going around the big circle, and there's barbed wire. And And we were getting pretty close to that barbed wire, by the way, but she was listening to my reins. And I get back, and she's in a lather. Aunt Nancy's saying, "That's the most remarkable thing I've ever seen." Because Aunt Nancy, when she got on with the saddle, Mia would jump, and she had a trainer, and Mia would jump like, "Wee!" And Aunt Nancy, I don't know if she had fear or not, but that was my other point of fear. Horses pick up fear, and I brought up fear with episode 20, when I got up on the cliff, and the 9 inches from my nose, the rattler, and what I did there, and then in Malibu, the shark, episode 20. I'm not going there, but I'm just saying, what do you do with fear? I never brought up the horse. I brought up the dog. Episode 5, how I gave out all the fear. And what do you do when you're 4, giving out fear? Well, you're going to get something, let me tell you. So I learned at 4 not to have fear, and the rest of my life, I dealt with fear, as we all do every day. My point being, I only brought that little titty bit up was because, first of all, horses do not see barbed wire. And I didn't know that until later when my buddy says, "Look what, horses don't see barbed wire." I said, "Really? You don't see barbed wire?" And he says, "No, look what happened to my leg." And his leg, because the horse, it was whole scarred because the horse threw him into barbed wire. They don't see barbed wire. I didn't know that. So don't ever do that, kids. Think about it. If you're going to ride your horse, keep them away from barbed wire. So I'm just bringing up the broken bone. It's coming full circle because I can't say I had a broken arm. All I can say is I knew what a broken bone felt like. And boy, did I ever. I got pictures of it, and I didn't go. All I know, it wasn't sticking out of my arm or anything, but it was like broken. So what do you do? What do you do? This is what I did. Physician, heal thyself. So I knew about comfrey. Comfrey, people are up and down on the T part. I'm not going to go there. But it's a bone knitter. Comfrey's a bone knitter. And you put that on broken bones. So I knew about that for 30, 40 years and put it on the back shelf. Well, now I have a broken bone. Hey, you know what? I think I'm going to try this. So I did. You know what? Know what I did? I went online months earlier and I bought a comfrey plant. So now the plant is really big. I guess I was thinking ahead somehow. I didn't know I was going to break a bone. So I take out a bunch of leaves and I crunch them all up. Use my pedestal, and then I put all the juices and everything in the castor oil bowl that I had, a castor oil bowl, and the comfrey smashed it all up. And then I made a poultice on my arm, wrapped it all up, and that's basically all I did. And by the way, I waited to see if it was really broken or not, or if it was gonna hurt. I mean, if I had a sensation there. I had the very same sensation. And if anybody had broke a bone, you know what I'm talking about. It's like a dull feeling of a throb, and it doesn't go away. And the more you use your arm, the worse it gets. The more negative it gets. So I said, yeah, there's definitely something wrong with my right arm, and I think I broke my arm here. What should I do? So that's what I did. I experimented on myself at that point. I've done it all my life. That's just the way I am. If you're going to heal somebody, you better work on yourself first. I'm sorry, but that's the way I feel about it. Don't. Hopefully, these doctors know what they're doing. Have they worked on themselves, or are they just using you as a guinea pig? I don't know. You got to ask that question. So we got me doing this, and that's what I'm saying. I waited at least 2 weeks. I went with doing my regular work, and I said, nah, I think I broke my arm, and I'm not going for a cast, and I'm not going for any x-rays. I've had enough x-rays in my life that I can not do that anymore, I feel, unless you tie me down or something. So I did the wrap, I don't know, a couple weeks. That's it, I got pictures. I'll bring the pictures out and just say, hey, I think that was a broken arm you got there. Well, pretty big gash you got, and there's definitely something there. And if you look at the pilings that I fell on, I got girders at my house, and I'm going to build something. But so that was another bone knitter. It's a bone knitter, all right? So I had to experiment on myself. That's all. We all experiment on so many different levels, kids, and it's something we're going to all do. Hopefully we don't experiment on the other people to see how it would work. We would work on ourselves first. That's all I'm saying. Those that have had replacements of appendages and such that they put back, not bone, but whatever they're putting back in, you're probably going to go through some sensation, and you just might try a castor oil pack to to see if that would help you. I have so many things for ankles, shoulders, obviously, kneecaps that I've had situations with. Oh boy, to where I've used it on that too, and it seems to work on joints, anything with tendons and bone. So it does go from the surface level down, down, down through the tendons to the muscle to the bone marrow, and comes back up. And with that poultice that I had with just using the comfrey, there's so many different herbs and such. Dad had Parkinson's, and he knew a lot about the herbs and teas. That's why I got into it, I guess, at a young age. And they do work, kids. Certain teas will go to one organ, or certain organs certain teas go to. It's just the way it is. I may bring up teas on some episode someday, but you can find all that out by just Googling. I don't have to go through all that with you. So I think I hit a bitty bit of healing on the physical. There's the emotional and mental. That'll be the psychological part. And then there's the spiritual part that we all have to be healed on. And I think I might have something for y'all. I'm just going with this little bitty bit of healing because I feel that sensation you're feeling that you're saying is pain. Episode 29 could help you on that one. But I think that's all I can really put out there for you right now, other than I guess I'll have an episode tomorrow. It's going to be Labor Day, and I guess it's going to, since it's Labor Day, I'll put jobs out there. What a coincidence! Because I'm off tomorrow, and I think I might have some time for the jobs. All these people that want to get a hold of their boss. I mean, that's very negative to do that, to have that feeling, let alone to do it. So I might have something for you tomorrow on the boss situation. Everybody has a boss problem. I know you do. I can feel it. We're all empaths. All of us are. So until tomorrow, I hope I helped you today, and I hope maybe some of you looky-loos are hanging out longer. If you're not, maybe you'll catch up later. And all you kids, I know you're feeling better because you're looking better. And all you subscribers, heck, what would I do without you? So until we see each other tomorrow, aloha and be well.